Hello, once again, welcome back to English Literature. Dear students, this class is specially meant for the students of class 9. And here I am going to continue my class on English Literature. And once again, we are back here with Merchant of Venice, the drama. So we will be taking the class, and here we are going to deal Act 1, Scene 1, test number 155 to 185. That is in your pages um, 28 Last Antonio's dialogue to page number 30. Again, Antonio finishes his dialogue. So that is the thing we are going to learn. By the by, let me remind you once again about the things which you have already learned in our previous class. You may remember in our last class, Bassanio had come to Antonio to request for another loan. Why? What was the purpose of that loan? Because he wanted to present himself as a eligible or a rich tutor before Portia. He wanted to propose Portia. That was the intention. Thus, to go to Belmont, he came again to Antonio and he wanted to get some more money, some more loan. And he also feels really sorry for the things that he has done in his life, especially extra wage and careless spending of the money, and how he had wasted his money, all those things. Now he feels sorry for what he has already done. Excuse me. And again, you may remember that how Bassanio presented his childhood experience or the example of shooting the arrow. And the same way, he wanted to get another loan from our Bassanio. So here, continue from the class, Act 1, Scene 1, Test 155 to 185. This is what we will be focusing today. And the characters present in this part, that is Antonio and Bassanio, two intimate friends, and the location is again not changed, a street in Venice. All right. So let me take you to a test, page number 28, where we have stopped in our last class. That is test number 155. Oh, bring your later hazard back again and thankfully rest debtor for the first. Bassanio was telling that. So this time I will be much more careful in spending the money, and I will try to get the money back. Both the money, the lost money as well as this money, I will try to get. Or at least I will try to give the second loan, the present loan which he is asking now. And for the first one, throughout his life, he will live like a thankful person to Antonio. That is the place where we have stopped. Now, Antonio, you know me well, and herein spend but time to whine about my love with circumstances. And out of doubt, you do me now more wrong in making question of my uttermost than if you had made waste of all I have. Then do but say to me what I should do, that in your knowledge may be done, and I am pressed unto it, therefore speak. In summary, before explaining the test, let me tell very frankly, direct meaning of this one. Antonio is telling that Bassanio, you are spending time, unnecessarily wasting the time, especially by talking about my love and all those things. So, you are doing more wrong thing to me than doing any favor. So, because you are indirectly talking and doubting about my helpful nature and so on. So, directly you do one thing, you say what you want, I am even ready to do that one for you. That is what our Antonio is studying. Please look at the test once again. Antonio, you know me well, and here is spent but time to wind about my love with circumstance. Antonio is speaking to Bassanio. Bassanio, herein, spend but time. You waste time, spend but time. You are wasting time to wind about my love. You're talking about my love with circumstance. This circumstance is complicated way. In a complicated way, by talking about my love, you are wasting time. Who is wasting time? Bassanio. Then, and out of doubt means indeed, undoubtedly, and indeed, you do me now more wrong. You do me more wrong, more mistake in making question of my uttermost. In uttermost means in doubting that I will do everything I can. You are doubting. You are doubting about my uttermost. Uttermost, you are doubting that I will do everything I can. Then if you had made waste of all I have, whatever I have, even if you waste, no problem. Then do but say, then, so instead of wasting this way of time, what you are asked to do, then do but say to me what I should do. You tell me what I need to do for you, that in your knowledge may by me be done. In your knowledge, you tell me what you want, so that I can do it for you. And I am pressed, P-R-E-S-T, pressed means I am ready unto it, therefore speak. I am ready to do whatever you want, whatever you ask. Thus, please tell me what you want. Who is saying? Antonio is saying to Bassanio. Again, here you will understand the good character or the character of our Antonio. How sincere, how intimate, how lovable he is to Bassanio. So, in one word or one sentence, we can say that when Bassanio asks for a loan, indirectly Antonio is telling to Bassanio, Bassanio, please tell me what you want, what I can do for you. I am ready to do it for you, instead of wasting time by doubting or talking about my love and so on. Hope the test is clear for you. Bassanio. In Belmont is a lady richly loved, and she is fair, and fairer than that word of wondrous virtues. Now, slowly, our Bassanio is introducing our heroine of the play. Who is the heroine of the play? Portia. And where is her residence? Portia's residence is in Belmont. Alright. Now he introduces, in Belmont is a lady richly left. Richly left means who has inherited great wealth, innumerable amount of wealth. In Belmont there is a lady who is having much wealth, and she is fair, she is beautiful, and fairer than that word. See, when we speak or the word beauty, fair, S-A-I-R, fair. Fair, it means beautiful. And fairer than the very word fair. Who is fairer than the very word fair? Referring to Portia. Yes. Fairer. Fairer than fair. Fairer than the very word fairer. Who is? This is referring to Portia. Portia is much more beautiful than the very word fair itself. Yes, and fairer than the word. Of wondrous virtues. Of wondrous virtues means extremely good qualities. Of wondrous virtues, sometimes from her eyes I did receive fair speechless messages. She's having wonderful qualities. Sometimes from her eyes I did receive fair speechless messages. What is the speechless messages? Non-verbal communication. For example, I show you, I just close my eyes or look at my face. Facial expression will tell you what the person is undergoing. Yes, looking at a person, looking at the face of your papa, then you will definitely understand whether your papa is happy or angry with you, isn't it? Yes. Same way, Bassanio could understand the speechless message that was communicated by Portia. Yes. I did receive fair speechless messages, beautiful speechless messages from where? From the beautiful eyes of our Portia. Her name is Portia. Her name is Portia. Nothing undervalued to Cato's daughter. She is not undervalued to Cato's daughter. Who is this Cato? Yes, that is, Cato is referred to the father of Portia in Julius Caesar. You know, Julius Caesar is another drama written by William Shakespeare, and there the wife of Caesar, Julius Caesar, was Portia, and this Portia was the daughter of Cato, a Roman statesman. Cato, a Roman statesman. And of course, she was the wife of our Julius Caesar. Now, was Julius Caesar? Yes, Julius Caesar was the Roman senator who was killed by his own best friend Brutus and his company. Friend. Alright. Okay. So Portia here is compared to Portia in Julius Caesar. This Portia of Belmont is compared with the Portia of Julius Caesar. She is equal or much better. That is what Shakespeare is saying. Brutus, yes, nothing undervalued to Cato's daughter, Brutus, Portia. Yes. I'm sorry, just I gave the wrong explanation. That is just Portia in Julius Caesar. She was the wife of, not the wife of Julius Caesar, but wife of Brutus, the murderer of Julius Caesar. Yes. Sorry for that mistake. I apologize for that. So, to Cato's daughter, Brutus, Portia. Nor is the wide world ignorant of her worth. The entire world knows about the good qualities, merits of this beautiful lady, Portia. The entire world. Nor is the wide world ignorant of her worth. For the four winds blow in from every coast, renowned suitors, and her sunny locks hang on her temples like the golden fleece. The entire world is known. She is known by the entire world, and what happens? Wind comes from four directions of the world: north, south, east, west. They all bring renowned suitors, respectable royal princes to Belmont. For what purpose? For the purpose of for the purpose of getting married to her, to propose her, to win her hand in marriage. Yes. For the four winds is referred to the wind that is coming from four directions, blow in every cause, from every cause, renowned suitors, and her sunny locks means her golden hair. Shakespeare is just explaining the beauty of her style, her golden sunny locks, that is, locks, hair, hang on her temples. Yes, temples, face, side of the face, and the shoulder area, temples. Yes, hang on her temples like a golden fleece. What is golden fleece? Please look at reference number 174. You will understand. The reference is made to the ancient Greek legend. Fleece refers to the crop of wool of sheep or ram. Sheep or ram. What is ram? Sheep or ram. Ram is the male god. Male god. Yes. Or the god. A famous hero called Jason, with his companions, the Argonauts, went the dangerous voyage to Colchis on the east coast of Black Sea in search of golden fleece, which was fastened to an oak by the local ruler, and the fleece was guarded by the dragon. Jason obtained it with the help of his wife Medea. So that is the reference number 174 on page number 21. You will get the explanation who is the what is this golden fleece and who is Jason, all those things. Now again please look at the text back on page number 75, 175. Her sunny locks hang on her temples like the golden fleece, which makes her seat of Belmont, Colchis Strand. She is called the seat of Belmont. Seat of Belmont, yes. Belmont का रानी, सीट ऑफ बेलमंट, बेलमंट का रानी के रूप में जाना जाता है. Colchis Strand and many Jasons here means Jasons meaning Jasons suitors, renowned, respectable suitors from various corners of the world come to propose Portia. Yes, why? Because she is beautiful, she is much more fairer than the very bird, fair, then offers plenty of wealth, then again of wondrous virtues. She is also totally, absolutely beautiful with all the things, and she is also called the seat of Belmont, Colchis Strand, and many Jasons come in quest of her. Come in quest of her. Quest means come in search of her. Oh my Antonio, after explaining Portia, now Bassanio speaks out the feeling of his heart. Oh my Antonio, had I but the means to hold a rival place with one of them, if I had but the means financial means, if I had the means to hold a rival place means to consider Bassanio among other renowned suitors, other people, to hold a rival place with one of them, I have a mind presages me such script. If I had the means to count myself among one of the suitors, my mind is saying, my heart is saying, definitely you will win Portia. Yes, I have a mind persistent. Persistent means say, means such a script that I should question us be fortunate. Without question, without doubt, my mind says that you will be the winner. Now what our Bassanio is lacking here? Our Bassanio is lacking, our Bassanio is lacking what? Money. That is what he lacks. If he had the money, he could have gone and counted himself among other Jasons and present himself as a wealthy suitor. Probably our Bassanio don't want present himself as a helpless poor beggar. Yes. See, sometimes you may have seen when a boy goes to a girl's house to propose her and so on, he says, Ghadi, Goda, Bangla, this one, that, and all the things. And explaining all those things, he will say he will get married, and after the marriage, only the poor girl will understand. The poor girl will understand. This person has no Gadi, Goda, Bangla. Gadi, yes, one cycle is there. Goda, maybe one bakery. And Bangla, instead of Bangla, one jhopadi or a hut. That may be his condition. And he may be saying that he is the collector, having the job of collector. What is the collector here? After the marriage, only the poor girl will realize that he is a ticket collector in a bus. Yes. So here, our Bassanio doesn't want to present himself as a poor, helpless person before Portia because he is richly left with all the money. So his mind says that he can win. Definitely he will win if he has the means of money. Or if financially he is sound, definitely he is going to win Portia's hand in marriage. Who says to whom? Bassanio says to Antonio. Yes. Now continue the text, almost the last dialogue of Antonio here. Thou knowest that all my fortunes are at sea. Thou, you, Old English, thou means you knowest. You know, Bassanio, that all my fortunes are at sea. And the very beginning we have learned, from the very beginning of this scene, we have seen that Antonio's ships are directed to different parts of the world for the commercial purpose, for the business purpose. And thus, there is no money in the hands of our, yes, Antonio right now. Thou knowest that all my fortunes are at sea. Neither have I money nor commodity. Right now, at present, I don't have any money, cash, ready cash in my hand, or any commodity. Commodity means any cargo item or business items that can be sold and raise money. Nor commodity. Commodity means good security for a loan. Yes, to raise the present sum. To raise the present sum means to make the present money. Yes. Therefore, go forth, immediately, go forth. Try what my credit can in Venice do, present sum. So do one thing, at now, at once, go to Venice, try what my credit can in Venice do, what my name can do in Venice. Use my name, in other words, our Antonio is telling, use my name on behalf of me. You try to get money from any money lenders from Venice. Who is saying? Antonio is giving this advice to Bassanio. Why? Because no present money, no commodity for selling right now. So go forth, try what my credit can in Venice do. That shall be right, that shall be taken. Yes, right. Even to the uttermost to furnish thee to Belmont. Whatever amount of money you want, use my credit and raise the money from any money lender. That shall be rag. Rag means stretch even to the uttermost, whatever money is required to furnish thee to Belmont. That is needed for you to go to Belmont. You use my credit, my name, and get money from any money lender and take the amount of money that you need to go to Belmont and present before Portia as a rich person, rich tutor, to furnish thee to Belmont to fair Portia. Go presently at once, inquire, and so will I. So I will also try here. Right now, you go to any street, get money from any money lender right now, and here I will also make an inquiry. And so I will. Where money is, from wherever money comes, from whatever source the money comes available, you get that one. And I know question make. I will not make any question from where did you get the money, or how much money you took, from where you take the money, in what way you made the money. I will never question such things. Go presently inquire, and so will I where money is. And I know question make. I know question make means I know question make means I will never question the amount of money what you have taken from whatever source to have it of my trust or for my sake. To get the money on behalf of me or for my sake, you can get that one. Who is giving the permission to whom? Antonio is telling or Bassanio to use his name to get the money from any money lender. Because the present need is to somehow arrange the money and go to Belmont to propose Portia. Yes. So that is to have fortune. See last test reference number, page number 30, right side test number 186 onwards. I will read. To furnish Belmont, to provide what is necessary for you to go to Belmont. Presently at once, I say, I have no doubt that I will be able to borrow money either because of my business credit or on account of my personal surety. Antonio is confident. Antonio is telling Bassanio that definitely you can go and get the money. Either people will be ready to give money either on account of my business or my own personal surety. Yes, dear students, thus we have completed Act 1, Scene 1. So hope you have understood the lesson. So in my next class, I will be coming to you with the extract, the question answer part of this test. So what you have to do right now, I'm going to give you some simple homework for you. Please write down the summary of this entire scene, starting from the very beginning till the end. The total thing is given in your workbook. Please go through all those things, read the test again repeatedly, then you will be able to understand. And definitely in my next class, I will be coming to you with extract and question answers and so on. Don't expect me to write down all the question answers for you. I will just help you with 2-3 extracts. The rest of the things you have to do and note down the things. All right. Hope you have understood the class. Thus, we have completed our Merchant of Venice, Act 1, Scene 1, and today we have been discussing about the test 155 to the last 185. Please stay at home, learn at home. All right. So write down all your doubts also somewhere, and whenever you get an opportunity to talk to me or see me, you can clarify those doubts. For the time being, that is all. This is Joseph from Little Flower School, Salembur. Thank you very much.